Hey, is your job to create content for social media? Do you feel like you need a budget for photography and that, the stuff that you get out of a cell phone just isn't up to snuff? I want to share with you some of the tricks that I've got to shoot with an iPhone and some basic apps to really up your game with social media, in particular photography. Not all of us have budgets these days to create good photos and to hire out photos all the time. Great photos are important, content is important, and the quality of the story is most important. But just like good audio is essential to video, good photography is essential to channels like Instagram and Facebook. So I want to show a couple of the apps that I use day to day on an iPhone and give you some tips and tricks to squeeze the best you can out of what you got. Stay tuned. So the first thing I want to stress is the importance of a good tripod. So I put together this little gadget. It's just an iPhone clamp and a small little tripod and a ball head, and it can pretty much go anywhere. Keeping a stable camera is essential for video and for time lapse and for just making sure you can get the shot remotely or otherwise. You can put one together for about 20 bucks with parts you find online. I'll link a few in the description. So this is the rig that I've got for a phone. This is what I've set up. It's a phone clamp, a ball head, phone clamp and a ball head, and just a little tripod. And it works pretty great. Just clamps onto the phone, just adjusts. It just snaps on. And you're good to go. And of course the ball head allows you to position it anyway, level it, get it up and down, ready to rock. And you could even go 90. If it was on a taller tripod, you could go 90 for Instagram stories, that kind of thing. It's pretty handy. But of course you want your phone to be stable as possible. So a couple apps we should talk about that are pretty indispensable. I don't know if you can see my phone very well, but I'm going to talk about this app, Filmic Pro. And Filmic Pro is for shooting video, but it shoots more professional video. So it gives you zebra striping, some focus visualization. It allows you to lock your exposure and lock your focus. It allows you to do pull focus, and it uses there's something in video called a codec, which is how hard the video is compressed, and it skips over the compression that Apple uses and it uses its own. So it's able to get a little better quality out of the hardware that Apple's traditional camera would. So if you shoot in 24 frames per second 4K with Filmic Pro, you'll get beautiful cinematic video out of the phone that you already have. I don't know if you can see this, but I can lock the exposure and I could lock the focus, and I could do lots of fun things. Of course, it's got auto levels, so it adjusts the gains for audio and lots of other professional features that you wouldn't have in the stock camera app. Another thing is this Luma Fusion program. And Luma Fusion is a video editor right on your iPhone. So I don't know if you can see, I'm scrubbing the timeline, but this is video that I shot on the phone, and I can edit right on the phone. I can put in titles, I can put in audio, and I can export video to go straight to Instagram without having to worry about getting back and editing on my computer. Of course, with Instagram stories, 15 seconds is your limit for video, so I usually cut and choose the best clip for 15 seconds, export it out, and then post to Instagram. As far as the stock camera app goes, there's a couple basic things that I don't know that everyone's aware of. The first thing is, rather than just firing a photo, click on the area you want to focus and that it is of interest, and that'll set your exposure. So that does something called spot metering. So if you find your photo in that area is too light or too dark, you can just drag up or down and it'll change the exposure. Another thing to think about is composition. So you've got these lines that go across the display. And if you put whatever you're taking a photo of in one of the intersecting lines, it's called a rule of thirds, you'll get a more interesting photo. So as an example, if this was a person looking out this way, I would leave lots of area for them to move or look. I would take a picture right where they intersect in that third. And I would be also aware of the crop. So for Instagram, it's a little more square. So I might not use the rule of thirds so much. I might use a strong center composition. But using those lines, another thing is worrying about low light and worrying about blur in your image. So if your first frame always tends to be blurry and you can hold your camera or your phone really still, if you hold down on the shoot button, it'll shoot a burst and it'll shoot a rapid series of photos in succession. Usually your second or third photo will be more sharp. So if you're taking a chance, holding down and hammering those photos, taking a look and picking the best one out of that series is probably a great idea. The last tip I want to give you in this short video is a program on your phone called Snapseed. So Snapseed is a free app by Google, and it allows you to just load photos off your phone and do tons of edits that you would need maybe Lightroom or something like that for. I'll go into a more detailed video when it's not so windy, but I just wanted to show you some of those apps: Filmic Pro, Luma Fusion, Snapseed, and of course a few tips for your stock camera. Anyway, that should get you going and that should get you started. So until then, see you in the next video.